Right, so like I have already indicated, you need to note that you can still create an object variable of an abstract class, but such a variable must point to an object of a non-abstract subclass. An object of a non-abstract subclass. Every superclass variable is polymorphic. I have already indicated that. But subclass variables, they can't be assigned to superclass objects. We can't say manager M is equal to new employee. Again, we can't say part-time manager, maybe M or PT is equal to a new employee or a new manager. You can't do that. But the other way around. Right? And we are saying it is common to have an abstract class in which none of the methods is abstract. A good example is our manager class. It's abstract, but none of the methods is what? Is abstract. Let's now move on to abstract methods. I think we have talked about abstract classes. We now want to look at abstract methods. Alright, so an abstract method is just a method without what? Without concrete implementation. To be just a method, what? A method header. Like maybe a return type, method name, and then you have the formal parameters. Or a return type and the method signature. Then you terminate it with what? With a semicolon. You terminate it with a semicolon. So after the signature, just put a semicolon. It will not be having a method body. Right. So in the redesign above, we declared class manager on semantic grounds. The new abstract class includes several methods. These methods obviously cannot be invoked by manager objects because the abstract declaration presents its instantiation. But these methods can still be invoked from subclasses using the keyword super. I have already demonstrated how you can do that with the constructors. We invoked the constructors which are in the abstract class manager. Right? We could have invoked any of the methods which are defined in the what? Defined in the manager class from the part-time manager what? From the part-time manager class or from the test bed. Right? So if maybe there is a method that you want to override, if there is a method that you want to maybe override, is there any method that we can maybe override? Let me go to manager and just check. Maybe print or read. Print or read. Right, so this is the definition of the print method in the superclass manager. We want to override this. We want to override this. So how do we override that particular method? Right, so we just need to define the method with the same what? With the same signature, return type, and access specifier. But we indicated that with the access, with the return type, it can also be a subclass of what? A subclass of that. But with the access specifier, what did we say? What is one of the rules that you need to follow when you are inheriting, or sorry, when you are overriding methods? Huh? Same return type or maybe a subclass. What about the access specifier? Huh? Either same or what? Or a less restrictive what? Access specifier or modifier. Same or less what? Less restrictive. Which means if maybe the method here is protected in the superclass, in the subclass we can go and define it as public. Because public is what? Is less restrictive. I had actually forgotten. There was someone who wanted to ask a question there. Right, let's proceed. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to override this method. So I just go to that class, then I define a method like that. Then I call the superclass print. I call the superclass print, or I can maybe just use that annotation. Then I say super dot print. I call the print method defined in the superclass, which is what? Which is a manager. Huh? Yeah, but here we are calling it first. Right, then we need to print what here. What was, let me just check the format of, we were separating our values with the tab. So it was tab first, then after that we can have whatever we want to print. Right, so here we want to print what? We want to print, what was it, number of right, number of hours, like that. We are done. So that's how you call what? That's how you call a non-abstract method in a what? Or that's how you use non-abstract methods defined in what? In an abstract class. You can call them from subclasses. You can call them from subclasses. Right. So in other circumstances, we may find that a method rather than a whole class is abstract rather than concrete. We are saying you can have a situation whereby only one method or one or more methods are abstract rather than concrete, not the whole class. Such methods can be written without any method body. A method which does not have a body must be declared abstract. And further, a class which includes one or more abstract methods must itself be declared abstract. And but then, what is the logic of having an abstract what? Abstract method. What is the logic of having an abstract method? Here, what you will be trying to do is to just enforce that the subclasses are supposed to what? Are supposed to implement certain functionality. You are trying to enforce the subclasses to implement certain functionality. Or those abstract methods, they give or they describe the form or the structure of the methods which are in the what? In the subclasses. Right? So an abstract class promises certain functionality through abstract methods to all its clients. Right? An abstract method declaration forces all the subclasses to provide an implementation of that abstract method. If a derived class does not implement all the abstract methods defined in the base class, then that derived class should be declared as abstract. Right, what we are saying here is if for instance we have an abstract method here, if we have an abstract method, what can I call it? I'm just going to use any I'm going to use any method name here. Maybe print2. Right, that's an abstract method. That is an abstract method. That's how you define the method. Abstract, then you specify the return type, then you specify the name of the method. If we do this and save, and we don't implement it in the subclasses, you get errors. As you can see, we now have that error in the subclass. Let me check the error message, if I can maybe display the error message. Right, it's saying the type part-time manager must implement the inherited abstract method manager.print2. Right, so in other words, we are forcing the subclasses to implement certain functionality defined in the abstract class, or to implement all the abstract methods defined in the what? In the superclass. So your program will not even compile until you provide functionality for what? For this abstract method. So there are two options here. You can either declare this class as abstract, the part-time manager. That's one way of solving the problem. Or you have to provide concrete implementation of the print2 method. You have to provide concrete implementation. Yes. Yes. That ceases to be an abstract class. All right, what he's saying is if we do this, it's no longer an abstract what? It is no longer an abstract method. Here it's actually complaining about the syntax. Abstract methods do not specify any board. Even if I remove this, again it's not an abstract what? It's not an abstract method. An abstract method is this is a board which does nothing. There's a method board, but the method board does not do anything. Yes. Interesting question. He's saying, can we declare an abstract method final? Yes, final. Let's start with final. What did we say is a final method? Maybe let's define first. Not be changed. We are saying a final method is a method which cannot be what? Overridden. And here we are saying this method is abstract. It is supposed to be implemented in the what? in the subclasses. So somehow it's maybe illogical to maybe declare it as what is final, because that method is supposed to be what? It is supposed to be implemented somewhere down the inheritance hierarchy. But here we are saying it's final, which means it can't be what? Overridden. So it's something which is maybe somehow, let me just check the error here. It's saying method in type manager you can only set feasibility modifier. The syntax is not even allowed to do such a thing. They are not even allowed to do that, because here we are saying the moment you have an abstract method, you are forcing subclasses to implement all the abstract methods. So you can't declare it as final. Can't declare it as final. How about static? What did we say is a static method? What is a static method?
When you are calling the static method, you just use the name of the class and that class. So sometimes maybe the static method is used in the class.
It's an instance of a class. Shh. Can you be quiet, please?
When you call it a static method, you don't have to declare an object of that class. You just say the name of the class dot the name of that static method.
But what is a static method? Not. What is a static method? That's more or less the same as what has been already said. Guys, come on. What's a static method? I've been saying this, since the first lecture. We indicate that a static method is a class what? It's a class method. A method which is shared by all the objects in a class. It's a shared method or method which is shared by all the objects in a class. Unlike instance methods. Where's this noise coming from? That's why I'll play my videos. Right? If maybe this method was not if it was not if the method was not abstract, let me maybe just comment this out first. And we can't do this because it's being inherited. And let me check for a method which is only defined here. Do I have such a method? But which is not in the superclass. I don't. That's not a. Let me maybe just define another method which is similar to this one, but with different arguments. So with a different name, and then I declare it as a static, like that. Then I need to remove that because we are no longer calling that. Right. And we are having an issue here. This is a static what? It's a static method. We can't reference what? What can we do here? Let's maybe just print something. Right. Then in the in the subclass, part-time manager, I just want to copy that the name of the method. Here we are now having what? We are now having that error. What if we use the name of the class? We have been saying that we have got static methods and non-static methods. If you are calling a static what? A static method, use the name of the class. If you are calling a non-static method, use what? An object. Right. So when we say super like this, it's an object that we are using. Where is it? That word is sort of overloaded. But when we use it, when we use it like this, right, it's sort of an object that we are applying to what? We are applying to that method, right? So this is a sort of a superclass object which we are using to invoke a method which is defined in the superclass, right? So we can't do that with what? With let me scroll. So you can't do that with a static method, but we might need to use what? The name of the class. Then we can maybe just copy this statement. Where is it? This one, and then we say print part-time manager print method, like that. Then I go to the test bed and call the print one method. I go to the test bed, employee part-time. I don't even need to create an object because I'm going to just use the name of the class dot print one, right? Then I run. I have some classes with some errors here, but I'm getting the output which I was expecting to get. I and there is the output. We have been saying that if you define a non-static method in the superclass, if you define a non-static method in the superclass, and then you define another non-static method in the subclass with maybe the same access specifier or a more restrictive, less restrictive, same return type or subtype, and same signature. That is called overriding. If the method is what? If the method is non-static. What if the method is static? What is it called? Huh? What if the method is static? You need to go and find out. You have to answer my question first. Do you have an answer to my question? Can you ask your neighbor? Right, I was saying that if you have got a non-static method defined in the superclass, right, and then you have another method in the subclass with the same return type or less restrictive return type, same access specifier or less restrictive, same return type or subtype, and then same signature. We have said that if these methods are non-static, it's called what? Overriding. What if the methods are what? Are static? What is that called? Is that an answer? What is it called? You need to search again. What do you mean? What's not possible? It's possible. I've just demonstrated this because I defined where is my class? My manager class. I have this static method. Then here in the subclass, I have got this static method. with the same access specifier, return type, and then method signature. And I'm saying this is not overloading. What is it called? Huh? Yeah, I can maybe take hiding. What else? What are the other terms which are used? Huh? Right, then the other thing, when you are declaring these abstract methods, the access specifier, where is that error coming from? Okay. The access specifier is not mandatory, because by default, all abstract methods are public. By default, all abstract methods are public. Right, so here, coming back to his initial question, where he had asked, is it possible to maybe define a static abstract method? You can't define a static abstract method. What is the logic here? Huh?
You can't make it static when you don't want to use it.
Not quite. Yes. Precisely. This actually shows that some people are thinking. Yeah, any programming course is supposed to maybe teach you to think. Because I mean, a programming language which does not maybe change the way that you think is not maybe worth learning. Because when you are programming, I mean, most of the cases, I mean, you are always using your brains. You need to be thinking. If you are to write proper or efficient code, you need to think. Right, I think that's all about abstract methods. I've forgotten what he said. What I still remember is that what he said was correct. Can you repeat what you said?
I said abstract methods are meant to be overloaded, but static methods cannot be overloaded.
Did you get that? Right, what we are basically saying here is if you define an abstract method, we have said that it's actually a promise to the compiler that these methods are going to be what? To be implemented in the subclasses. Or the subclasses are going to override all the what? All the methods which are abstract in the superclasses. Right? So if you declare it as what? If you declare it as static methods cannot be overridden. If you declare it as static, you can't override it.
Why static method cannot be overridden? Because it cannot be
Okay, the question was why static methods cannot be overwritten. Can someone respond to that? Eh? Hands round on Godard.